was pretty skeptical, but we both got weirded out by something that mentioned literally
heartbeats happening.
The Galactic Federation of Worlds, like 2 weeks before this. That's the remote viewing guys. I know I keep bringing them up, but they just keep weirding me the hell out.
The Exiled Minds podcast. Famously Martin. You have like several names that you're famous and the mighty. How can you beat that? The Exiled Minds podcast. The Exiled Minds podcast. Famously Martin the Mighty Rohan. The famous Exiled Minds podcast. How can you beat that?
What's interesting about this is with all the turmoil going on in 2020 and with the Tom DeLonge thing, this narrative that's starting to develop, lots of propaganda, all the kind of pieces are starting to fall into place. There's lots of like what to believe, you don't know. Balthazar, there's all this stuff going on. It's like, what do you believe? What do you believe? But if you look at our elites, they're acting freaking weird. They're definitely like meeting behind closed door, like they have like plans. And I wonder, do the elites, have they gotten a list of demands from these beings? The Galactic Federation of Worlds, are we in it? Are we not in it? Is this real? If it is, like, are we trying to get into it? And maybe the elites are getting this laundry list of demands. Or you need to have more control, centralized government, you can't have guns. A lot of the elites' behavior right now is just almost like desperate.
You're tuned into Troubled Minds Radio Network on KUAP Digital Broadcasting, where we contemplate the mysteries of the cosmos through the lens of philosophy, magic, and more.
For many centuries, witchcraft has been considered evil, associated with the devil and all things dark. Let's break these stereotypes with your host, Matt Sau, at the Temple of the Hour. Let's talk about magic of the old ways, explore the many roles of the witch, learn the tools of the craft, the history of the science behind this ancient, earth-based religion on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting.
This is James Salcedo, host of Salcedo Paranormal, and you're listening to the Troubled Minds Radio Network on KUAP Digital Broadcasting.
was pretty skeptical, but we both got weirded out by
Mighty Rohan.
something that mentioned literally
Heartbeats happen.
Federation of Worlds like 2 weeks before this. That's the remote viewing guys. I know I keep bringing them up, but they just keep weirding me the hell out.
The Exiled Minds podcast. Famously Martin.
Hello and welcome to the show, Exile Minds podcast, with me, your incredibly famous host, Liam Martin. On today, Sunday, doing a special one, just testing a few things. Sunday, the 1st of October, 2023. I'm going to test out a bit of new lighting, new equipment and stuff. See what's going, make sure the stream's still working and that. So, we'll go for it. Do another show. So today on the Exile Minds podcast, got a special show, one again I've been meaning to do for a while. Never got round to kind of doing it, but we're here because it kind of applies to me and some stuff that I want to do as well. So, which is Feng Shui. So we're going to look at the show title today, episode number 38 of the Exile Minds podcast is Harmony in Design, Exploring Feng Shui and Vastu Shastra. Sorry, my teeth in. So that's what we're going to explore today because I'm interested in Feng Shui because I want to decorate my my flat, move things around a bit, and heard about like your entrance is like relevant and it's got to be clean and like usually white and I've heard stuff like that, and the way that you align your bed is supposed to help you sleep better, and I've heard little things. So I thought, well, I'll have a look into this because it seems to come up, and then I found out that, like I say, there's Feng Shui which is kind of well known, and I suppose it got a bit popular along in the times of when we had transcendental meditation was popular in the sort of 80s. So Feng Shui was a bit of a thing in the kind of 90s, I think. But I didn't know that there was an Indian version as well, Vastu Shastra. But I did know that Indian architecture, there's a thing about Indian architecture that's very scientific and mathematically done, the way it's done it, and harmonious. And I thought, these things kind of like relate because the way that they face the buildings sort of matters as well. I know about that, and so with the cardinal points, and then there's martial arts that use like the cardinal points as well. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's something to all of this. So I thought, let's have a look at this. So let's start then. So the show today, basically, we're going to step into the world of ancient wisdom and discover the secrets and harmonious living in this podcast episode, Harmony in Design, subtitle Exploring Feng Shui Vastu Shastra. So I'll invite you to join us as we explore time-tested practices of Feng Shui and Vastu Shastra, two fascinating systems designed with arrangements in mind in different corners of the world as well, from different places to different systems. But we'll delve into the cultural origins, we'll look at the core principles, and we'll look at some of the possible practical applications that you might be able to use, and I might be able to use, what I'm planning to, of Feng Shui and Vastu Shastra. So let's learn how these ancient traditions and see if it offers any insights into creating balance, or like positive energy and flow, or a sense of well-being in your like living space, because they do say that saying, isn't they? A tidy house, tidy mind kind of thing. So and out of sight, out of mind, like burying stuff, sweep it under the rug. So I wonder if these things have some kind of basis in some truth, you know, the old wives' tales. Some of these things turn out to be the case. Like there was a thing about cow urine as a possible treatment for different ailments through the centuries, and it turns out when chemistry gets to test these things, it turns out there are a few things that's quite useful for cow urine, believe it or not, and it's really good for your garden as well, saving your urine at your garden. There's many uses for your garden. It's really good. So maybe I should do a show on that. Probably should, actually. We'll call it the piss take. But anyway, moving on. Let's stick with harmony. Okay, so whether you're a curious beginner or a seasoned practitioner, hopefully on this podcast, what we'll do is we'll see if we can open up some valuable insights, get some real life examples, like I say. See if you can enhance your own home or your office space, or enhance your very life, indeed. So let's discover the power of aligning your environment with the natural world and ancient wisdom. You're already tuning in, hopefully, or later on. So yeah, let's transform our surroundings and see if we can create a more harmonious and prosperous life. Because like I like to say, you've got to grow the grass beneath your own feet, haven't you, to sort of get started with, and then hopefully it will spread. So to start with, then, instead of going with Feng Shui, because I didn't know about the sort of Indian one, and I thought I'd go with this first, because India's, I don't know which is technically older, but India seems older. It seems like Africa, India, and then China are like the oldest, civilizations to me. But it's hard to say. But we'll start this the Indian one, because I'd never kind of heard of it. So I think they both kind of interrelate here, because in my research I've discovered that Vastu Shastra and the Feng Shui are both ancient systems of design and arrangement that aim to create harmonious balance. So they're both trying to do the same thing with living spaces, but they do come from different cultural backgrounds, and they have some distinct differences, and there's some comparisons that I've got here to see how they sort of relate and differ. So the cultural origins of Vastu Shastra is, like I say, it's originated in India, deeply rooted in Hindu culture and beliefs. There's a strong connection to the Vedic texts, as Feng Shui is originated in China and is influenced by Taoism and the traditional Chinese cosmology. So they're mixing in astrology with this as well. And it incorporates the elements of Confucius and Buddhism. So in the Chinese one, in sort of Feng Shui, they're bringing in Taoism philosophies, cosmology, astrology, and then elements of Buddhism and philosophies from Confucius, which makes it then look like they're doing a whole package sort of thing. And plus they happen to have the I Ching, a predicting system as well, which is quite accurate. So that's interesting. But the basic principles of the Indian variety of Vastu Shastra primarily focus on positioning and alignment of architectural elements such as doors, windows, rooms in respect to the cardinal directions and natural elements, whereas Feng Shui again emphasizes more the flow of energy and qi within a space. It considers the placement of objects and furniture and the layout of the room to optimize the flow of energy. So it's a bit like the Indians are looking for specific directions and saying that's got to face that way, that's got to face this way, because of the natural elements, whereas the Chinese are looking more like, no, there's the way qi flows is how we're going to let it dictate, rather than nature and the cardinal points. I think that's the way to differentiate the two. They both got this an emphasis, directional emphasis, like I say, on alignment. So placing strong emphasis on directional alignment of the buildings, with each direction associated with specific qualities and its purposes. So, for example, the northeast is often associated with spirituality, while the southwest, its opposite, is associated with stability. And suppose those two as a pairing do kind of fit together, don't they? Whereas Feng Shui, it considers directional aspects, but is more flexible with its approach. Like I'm saying, they're not strict on the sort of cardinal points. Feng Shui practitioners use a Bagua map to analyze it, various life areas in the space, with different areas corresponding to different aspects of life. So you got life aspects there, rather than just it's got to be northeast, southwest, northeast, northwest, north, south, northeast, southwest, whatever. So they're putting life stuff, okay, into different spaces. Like I mentioned, they include the elements in this as well. So the elements come in terms of in the Indian variety, the Vastu Shastra incorporates 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air, and then space. Okay, the 5th element sort of thing, and seeks to balance them within space, within the space. So the 5 elements, space being one of them, being balanced within your space. And Feng Shui focuses on balancing 5 elements of, instead of earth, water, fire, and wind, we say air, and then space is like the 5th element. That's more like what we kind of use. Then Feng Shui, they're going for the elements of wood and fire. Still got the fire, got earth, still got that, but they use, and they still got water, but they're using metal. So they got wood and metal in there, in place of they don't have an air element, sort of thing. So they replace space with I suppose they replace space with wood or metal. So yeah, so they're switching elements a bit, but I found that quite fascinating actually, the way that they're putting wood in there for wood. Is that an element? Because you think of fire and water and air and stuff is wood, but I suppose wood's an element. It's an elementary thing that we use. So I suppose that's like a human element, and it's something that's in between because it's coming from nature. You can use it for stuff. It fuels fire, one of the other elements, but we can turn it into things. Do you know what I'm saying? And we can use wood to make fire, make one of the elements. So I can kind of see where they're coming from with that. And the same with sort of metals. We kind of use that, and they're a bit kind of special, aren't they? They might be like the 5th element, space element, because it come from space, but also can make even more weird stuff with metals, can you? But anyway. Moving on, so that's the elements, the colours and decor. So they're using colour magic then, because that's the thing. So Vastu Shastra recommends specific colours and decor based on directional alignments of the room for the intended purposes. Feng Shui using colour and decorations to enhance the energy of specific areas as determined by the Bagua map. Okay, so okay, so one sort of both doing the same thing, I suppose, but one sort of saying, oh, this must be for this specifically for this direction is this colour. Maybe, the same for animals in martial arts actually, they had the cardinal points as well, so maybe they've got a coloured belt, like earth element tiger, that was a red belt, and the air element, I'm not sure what that was, I think that might have been white. I suppose like the clouds, that was a crane. The snake I know was green, I suppose that makes sense because it's a reptile. So yeah, and the idea with that was then if you learn all the animals in Silat, then you've got a belt for each one, for each animal, rather than a different level of competency, a different grade. They have one for each animal. So once you've learned all 4 animals, it's like you've learned 4 elements, 4 cardinal points, and you're wearing 4 belts, so you'll have 4 different colours. So it's like you've kind of gone up the spectrum a bit, from red on the ground. So you learn on the ground first, so you can learn to fight from the ground if you get knocked over. Then you've got to learn the snake, because that's a fire element that comes back up to get you off the ground, to get you using your hands again, because as a tiger, your feet are hands, your hands are feet, so it gets mixed up. So then you come back up off the ground to the snake, and go from your red belt to your green belt, which are like opposites, because red and green, they not complementary, they clash in colours. Red and green should never be seen, as they say in art. And then, like I say, you're going to come up to your sort of monkey element and your crane element, which I think is white. I'm not sure what monkey is actually. It might be blue. In fact, it probably is. It is blue, and it's probably blue also because monkey is a water element. Monkey climbs up a tree and then comes down like a crashing waterfall. Like you see monkeys will run up a tree, they'll climb up a tree really quick to get away from a tiger, but then they'll come down and they'll bop the tiger on the head. Why? Because you can't get it. You know what I'm saying? They like mess with them. They're like, yeah, the screwy tigers. Monkeys do. Because they're monkeys, aren't they? But anyway, little side note there. So yeah, we've got colour involved with this stuff as well. There's a consultation methods as well. So let's have a look. And this I'll just read this last one and then we'll jump into some of these articles about it. So in Vastu Shastra, often involves using specific measurements and mathematical calculations to determine ideal alignments. And that's, I think, where I was getting that thing about, I'd seen in documentaries about the way the buildings are really specifically certain proportional sizes. And I do believe the proportional size is based on the kind of human body. And the triangles that are making up the human body, and they got deep in that stuff, man. But yeah, so, okay. So Feng Shui, though, involves methods including the use of a compass, or a lupan, and the Bagua map, which is an intuitive analysis by the practitioner. So I guess they got to just make it up. I don't know what the compass is for. Maybe to make sure it's absolutely aligned. I don't know what that is. And they say some of the applications for this then. So in Vastu Shastra, mainly applied to architectural designs and constructions, but can also influence interior design and layout. So it's a bit like into the Feng Shui aspect. Whereas Feng Shui has a wide range of environments, including homes, offices, not just a home space. Like I say, you've got offices and outdoor spaces too. You can Feng Shui an outdoor space. Just never really thought about it, I suppose. Yeah, same thing. It's a space is a space is a space. And can also involve remedies like the placement of mirrors, wind chimes and plants. Well, I've seen Bruce Lee doing that, with his little Dharma, the octagon with the mirrors, put them to ward away badness when you're sick and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. I'll just get the old share screen up here, and then what we got. Yeah, let's get this up for the video viewers. Let's share a screen. I don't know why it's not shared already. We'll just quickly put that on there. There we go. Right, I'll get rid of me. So then. So links will always be in the description, but yeah, I just want to quickly show you that in Bagua, they've got this like octagon that radiates out, and they've got all the sort of elements. It gets kind of complicated. We'll talk about Bagua because I mentioned martial arts, and there's Bagua Shang as a martial art. In fact, we'll just click onto that. There's a martial art that's based on these movements as well. In fact, you will have seen definitely if you watched movies with Jet Li. Jet Li does a lot of Bagua in his stuff. Occasionally, I think Jackie Chan might do some Bagua, because it looks a bit like the movements in when you do the drunken boxing, slightly, kind of the kind of weird, kind of big, sort of exaggerated, flowy movements. The Bagua, it's definitely seen Jet Li doing it. He's particularly good. It's like he's the guy for Bagua, and Donnie Yen is the guy for Wing Chun these days. As really good examples of that particular style. But yeah, they say they've got that based on angles and stuff and the flow. But we'll have a quick read just about Bagua in general. So the Bagua or Pakwa are a set of 8 symbols that originated in China. Used in Taoist cosmology, it represents the fundamental principles of reality, seen as a range of 8 interrelated concepts, and it is an essential tool in the majority of Feng Shui schools. Bagua literally means 8 symbols or 8 areas. Ba meaning 8 and Gua meaning area. So that might be like 8 diagram in the Kung Fu film, famous one. 8 diagram pole or something. 8 diagram star. Anyway. So yeah, 8 symbols. So let me read that again because I had a little notion there. So it's used in Taoist cosmology. It represents the fundamental principles of reality, seen as a range of 8 interrelated concepts. That was it. Like 8 interrelated concepts, essential tools for it. But the fundamental principles of reality, which kind of makes it seem like everything, like space, like the whole thing. So then I get thinking, well, are they talking about infinity stones? Is that what we're saying? It kind of sounds like it is 8 like elemental things, but anyway. Just a thought there. So moving on, 8 is bar meaning 8 and gua meaning 8 symbols or areas. In the center of the bar gua, 8 groups of 3 lines or trigrams surround the yin yang symbol, and broken lines is yin, representing the receptive female force of nature, and a solid line is yang, representing the creative male force of nature. Because if you think of it, women are receptive, they make a circle, they move in curves. Women are curvy, they make circles or spirals to make a circle, to make a space. And that space is created by women. Make a safe space, basically. Then men can go in and do structure. Men go in and make stuff, men are building stuff, and give them a pat on the back and tell them they've done a good job. Go and build something else. Here, I want this now. They love it. They love it. You know, there's a safe space been made for them, and someone says, hey, go in this safe space and make some buildings. Men are great. Or you don't have to be actual architecture, but, you know, go and build something. We're going to do a project. Give a guy a project in a safe space. Man, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's happy. But yeah, it's sort of it's a basic principle of male and female force. So yeah, on the video, we've got a little image there of the Bagua map. So the south is curiously pointing north on this map. It's at the top. The south is at the top. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So in the south, looks like I've got to write down for a break in a minute. But I'll just quickly read through a couple of these headers. So in the south, we've got fame, and it's the fire symbol. In the southeast, we've got wealth and small wood. And in the east, we've got family and big wood. In the northeast, we've got knowledge and small earth. In the north, we've got career and water. In the northwest, we've got travel and big metal. In the west, creativity and small metal. In the southwest, marriage and big earth. Big earth, getting married. Big earth. But yeah, so that's what's going on with that. I mean, I don't know. It seems quite complicated. It seems like it's really quite in depth, this stuff. So I mean, I've got some more articles to read, but we'll sort of get into it. But what we'll do for now, like I say, I'm trying to train myself to sort of do radio clock time at the minute. So I'll get myself a nice little ad break thing coming on or something. What we got in here? Okay, yeah. Not to worry, I'll find it. Right, okay, yeah. So we'll have a little break on the Exile Minds podcast from talking about Feng Shui. We'll come back, talk about some Bagua in a moment. Just after a quick little break, I have to grab some show music here, and we'll play one of these little, I made some little ad break things for Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. So yeah, we'll just play one of these. I made some montage, some music for the ads and that, mix them all together. So we'll go ahead and we'll play one of them, shall we? So here we go. Exile Minds podcast with me, your incredibly famous host, Liam Martin, trapped in the Matrix, but we're going to find a way out. Having a break just for a few minutes. Back in a sec.
In the small town, starless and Bible black, the cobbled streets silent and the hunched quarters and rabbits wood limping invisible down to the slow black, crow black, fishing boat bobbing sea. The houses are blind as moles, though moles see fine tonight in the snouting velvet dingles, or blind as Captain Cat there in the muffled middle by the pump and the town clock. The shops in mourning, the welfare hauling, and all the people of the lulled and dumbfound town are sleeping now. Hush, the babies are sleeping, the farmers, the fishers, the tradesmen and pensioners, cobbler, schoolteacher, postman and publican, fast and slow asleep. The undertaker and the fancy woman, drunkard, dressmaker, preacher, policeman, the wet-foot cockle women, and the tidy wives. Young girls lie bedded soft or glide in their dream with rings and trousseaux, bridesmaided by glowworms down the aisles of the organ-playing wood. The boys are dreaming wicked, or of the bucking ranches of the night and the jolly Rogered sea. And the anthracite statues of the horses sleep in the fields, and the cows in the byres, and the dogs in the wet-nosed yards, and the cats nap in the slant corners or lope, sly, streaking and needling on the one cloud of the roofs. You can hear the dew falling and the hushed town breathing. Only your eyes are unclosed to see the black and folded town vast and slow asleep.
Do you crave open, uncensored discussion about the unexplained? Look no further than the Troubled Minds Radio Network, ultimate destination for those who seek the truth and aren't afraid to speak their minds. At the Troubled Minds Radio Network, we don't just talk about UFOs, the paranormal and the ever-changing, shifting news cycle. We dissect them, debate them, and encourage you to join the conversation. Join us as we gather to discuss the mysteries of the world, share your own encounters, and engage in thought-provoking conversation that leaves no stone unturned. Because the Troubled Minds Radio Network, your voice matters and all your ideas are welcome. Tune in, speak out, and explore the unknown with us. Don't miss out on the most candid, uncensored discussions about the unexplained on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting.
If you're into philosophical constructs, cosmic musings, and the probability of magic in our mysterious world, welcome to Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting.
This is James Salcedo, host of Salcedo Paranormal, and you're listening to the Troubled Minds Radio Network on KUAP Digital Broadcasting.
Hi, I'm Liam Martin of the Exile Minds podcast. You're listening to the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting, the place where we dive into the depths of the unknown. From the Troubled Minds Radio Network, you can join us and embark on a thrilling journey through worlds of science, the paranormal, and the enigmas that defy explanation. Tune in, share, let everybody know that you're listening to Troubled Minds, the place that captivates and takes you to the uncharted territories of knowledge. Welcome back from the break. Say that again. Welcome back. Back from the break. Back from the brink. Wow. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn this mic down a little bit. Ooh, a bit of hot mic. Didn't realise. Okay, so... okay. Back from the break. Thank you very much for your patience. Yeah, so Exile Minds podcast. Episode on Feng Shui, the Chinese harmony by design situation, aligning things. We've looked at so far, have a look at the Indian sort of variety, Vastu Shastra. And now we're looking at the Feng Shui. We'll have a look at a bit of Bagua, so we'll go back, carry on talking about the Feng Shui. So let's jump off that. We've had a quick look at the say it's quite in depth, so I recommend you, if you're interested in this directional stuff, it's really quite detailed. So, and like I say, they've got broken lines and straight lines in the Bagua, diagram, which is an octagon shape. And it's got the different colours for the different directions, different elements, with the yin and the yang in the middle, and say some in the very centre. It's got they've all got 3 lines, all the different 8 groups,
but some are broken, some are straight, just like the I Ching. I mean, there's something in there. The I Ching probably goes in with this too, so it's very, very detailed. But we'll look at some of the types of Feng Shui. We'll just quickly jump onto that just to get through the show. Right. So, okay, let's have a look. So the types of Feng Shui, this is from the Feng Shui Society. This is fengshuisociety.org.uk. And yeah, the types of Feng Shui. So find a consulate. You can get a private tuition on this website, all that stuff, and books and stuff. Different types of Feng Shui. There's books on Feng Shui. Sometimes they seem to contradict each other. This is because over the years, Feng Shui has developed in various different directions, which has resulted in a variety of, quote, schools, end quote. And even when the underlying core Feng Shui concepts remain similar, each situation requires selective individual analysis, with the results that different Feng Shui consultations may offer different suggestions. It doesn't necessarily mean that anyone is wrong. There is usually more than one way to achieve a desired result. There you go. There you go. A wonderful statement. Can echoes something that Michael Strange of Troubled Minds Radio haven't talked about. How we don't, we can disagree, and it's okay. We can still get along, sort of thing, in reference to all the identity politics. So there's that. Yeah. Okay. So moving on in the article. The origins of Feng Shui. Feng Shui originated in ancient China, and all of the classical Feng Shui schools and methods were developed there. The observation and analysis of landforms, waterways, and structural placement are basic to classical Feng Shui. So are the formulae for calculating things such as distribution and quality of qi, elemental balance, auspicious and inauspicious directions and locations, etc., which determine the measures to be taken in order to achieve the desired outcomes. It's kind of like what we call magic then, except there's an ancient science behind this apparently, because you wouldn't keep doing it for centuries and centuries and thousands of years if there's nothing to it. If it didn't work, would you? I suppose. Yes. Anyway, 15 principles that you can follow. Looking at some practical advice. Let's have a look at these then. So, because what I was thinking in terms of looking at this in terms of presenting a little bit of a talk on this idea, it is kind of sort of in the magical realms, not in the magical thinking fairy tale. I think there's something to this stuff. It's why I want to get across. It seems to me, and I'm entitled to my opinion, sort of thing. So these things are kind of very familiar. This as in they resonate with me. They seem to make sense to me. That these kind of things would sort of work, and like I said, for them to be included in martial arts, and drawing sigils and drawing ninjas in ninjutsu, they draw kind of lines. I think there's 5 lines that you draw, and it's different, like the broken lines situation with the I Ching. We've got 3 lines, and then 1 might be straight, 2 might be broken, whatever. In ninjutsu, they draw 5 lines. I don't know quite how to do it, but you draw them over people, and it's different. I think it's like 3 vertical, 2 horizontal for male, and vice versa for female, something like that. And it's supposed to weaken you. And there's tricks in martial arts where there are things you can do where you can kind of like split somebody's energy by your finger, by kind of just doing a line right down the center of the body. And then you get them to put their arm out, and you push their arm down, and they can't resist it. And it's not just because you're pushing down really hard, and the lats can't do it. No, it weakens you. There's some things you can do. There's stuff in Aikido where you can do this visualization technique, where they practice kind of meditation, where you squeeze the ground with your feet. You get your legs strong and that, so your groin strength, and you squeeze the ground a bit. So you've got a nice, strong, stable position. But then you imagine growing roots into the ground. Doing all peaceful stuff in Aikido, aren't they? Trying to redirect flow. So they're doing this kind of stuff. And there's techniques where, there's an example of a lady that I knew in Nottingham, French lady. that she did Aikido, and she was telling me about this, where the people can't pick her up. They taught you to do it, and then you can kind of imagine you're rooting yourself like a tree into the ground with your feet, and then people can't lift you off the ground. Even though these guys that are strong enough to lift her up can't get her off, like Thor's hammer. They can't get her to unstuck off the ground. It's a strange thing. And you think, well, is that her gripping the ground with her toes somehow? But no, if you just lift someone straight up, it don't matter about the gripping, does it? So, and I know a guy that was, a shaman, quote unquote, a pagan shaman. He'd been inaugurated as pagan shaman. He was into like Nordic runes and stuff, all that kind of paganism stuff. And yeah, he claims that he had this dodgy door on his crappy flat, and his mate had to go and pick something up, and he used to draw with chalk the rune symbol that meant lock, to lock his door, because the lock didn't work. And his friend had to go around to get something. He couldn't get the door open. And he phoned it up. His name was Gino. And Gino said, oh yeah, just wipe that, see that chalk symbol on it? Just wipe the chalk symbol off and you should be able to get in. And the guy said he did it, and he got in. He got in his house and picked up the thing he had to pick up, whatever it was. So it's like, here are these things. Anyway, moving on. On with the article, 15 practical things you can do. Because like I say, I wanted to see some practical stuff that you might be able to, other than having to pay someone to come and do consultation, sort of thing. But it's like you got to kind of do your stuff, haven't you? Let me open this article up a bit, see if there's any good pictures, because I'm in reader mode here. Let's have a look. Oh, some of them ad blocker things. Okay, go back. So chances are you've been tossing around about with the term of Feng Shui for years. This is from purewow.com. Okay. So yeah, chances are you've been tossing around for years with the term of Feng Shui for years without ever truly understanding what the heck it is. In a nutshell, Feng Shui is an ancient Chinese principle that examines objects, placements, and how they affect the home's energy. Yet beyond improving the energy of inanimate objects within the home, Feng Shui can also help reduce stress and anxiety. That's a claim there with links, so I'm going to assume there's some studies there. Shall we click one? Let's see if there's a source material situation. Oh, it's source materials itself with another article. Is anyone about focus, breathing, distract yourself, maintain healthy habits. Okay. It's linking itself to a generic anxiety article. I was hoping for a bit of science there, to be honest. Got to be straight with you. I was hoping for some academic citation instead of another article about yourself that didn't look like it had any citation, but it doesn't mean it's not accurate. Anyway, let's go back. So, meet the expert. You have got citation. Okay, so, yeah, it could help to reduce stress. I clicked on the linky thing, but that didn't give it, so carry on reading the article. Might help to reduce anxiety, making you feel more grounded in your daily life. So in the hopes of ridding your home of any and all bad energies and ending 2023 on the right foot, we tapped Feng Shui expert Laura Morris for a full breakdown of what goes into the practice, plus an essential guide to properly Feng Shuiing your home. I don't think Feng Shuiing is a real word, I reckon. Sounds cool though. Meet the expert. Laura Morris is a Toronto-based Feng Shui educator, tarot card reader, and co-founder of Mindful Design Feng Shui School. Morris has studied extensively in Feng Shui after earning a certification from the BTB Feng Shui Masters Training Program in 2014, and she's the co-host of the Holistic Spaces podcast. Oh, a podcaster! Word! Done a podcast on my this is cool. Might get her on. Or she might want me to go on because I'm famous. Yeah, and her podcast, then, the Holistic Spaces podcast, offers accessible Feng Shui tips for your home. Maybe I should check it out then if I'm planning to embark on doing some Feng Shui myself. So I might well have her on the show because I might be asking her stuff about Feng Shui. Anyway. What is the science behind Feng Shui? Okay, let's have some science. This is what I want to see. Qi, or Qi, it simply put is energy, Morris explains. It is an unseen force. It is a force. It's all around us. Yeah, it's like Star Wars. It is an unseen force that flows all around us. Everything in Feng Shui is infused with Qi. You, me, a rock, and a tree. Oh, that was almost a haiku and it rhymed. Anyway, was it a haiku? Anyway, the concept of that would have been cool. The concept of Qi goes back to the earliest examples of Taoist text about how to cultivate Qi, or personal energy, for better health and longevity. While there is not a clear and direct translation into English, the closest words to describe would be breath, life force, vital energy, cosmic breath. It is the foundation of Feng Shui. It is that Qi is the foundation of Feng Shui. That's what you're using, trying to manipulate that force. And that's what Tai Chi's for, and Falun Gong or Falun Dafa. That's what you're doing with that as well, trying to control Qi. So, and your magnetism as well. So practitioners focus on improving the quality of flow of energy through built environments so they can thrive and prosper. How can Feng Shui improve your overall well-being? Morris tells us that following the practices of Feng Shui at the home can create deeper connections with your environment, make you feel more grounded and present, help you to reduce anxiety and worry, promote better sleep with an upgraded bedroom layout, empower you to manifest change. You know, all of those things, thinking about it actually, without trying to be a smart aleck, they're actually all really practical advice things that you kind of hear from motivational speakers, which is about being focused. Okay, so maybe it's kind of that simple. If you stay focused. I remember I heard a motivational speaker say that if you really can't do stuff and you can't stay focused, so just start with making your bed every day. So it's a bit like Will Smith saying, lay that one brick perfect. If you make your bed every day, start training some organization into your life. And then he used this term, be ruthlessly organized. Ruthlessly organized. And I suppose that does help because you know where things are. If everything's got a place, when you need the thing, you go to the thing, you get the thing, you ain't got to look for it. That saves you time, saves you stress. So I suppose being super hyper focused and laser, I suppose just doing that. So that, and that falls then into the realms, like the article says, I would suggest, falls into the realms of creating a deeper connection with your environment. You know where your stuff is. You know it's nice and neat and tidy and packed away. You feel more grounded and present, I suppose, because you ain't got worries. You're not in clutter. I suppose there's that as well. And if that out of sight, out of mind, it's not really out of mind, is it? It's in there somewhere. So if you declutter, I suppose then you ain't got those like unconscious worries about those clutter, and there's lots of tiny little jobs that you've got to do, and that would help reduce stress. It wouldn't be on your unconscious mind. And having an upgraded bedroom layout, well, it makes sense if you've got an efficient bedroom layout for like if it's a comfortable bed for one thing, or if it's easy to get to, or what's your view when you first open your eyes when you wake up in the morning? Because I suppose that's going to be pretty important. So, in fact, I know it is, because I remember there was a time when my view, when I opened my eyes, the only view in the room was like trash bags full of like odd bits of my possessions, where it was like that was my life. It was like all reduced down to a few trash bags, but it was just there every day for like a year, because I was kind of stuck in a situation. I had to wait a year to sort of get out, and so it was like every morning seeing that, I just kept telling myself that's my life in bags, you know what I mean, like in ruins sort of thing. It was just with my eyes, just kind of sort of telling myself that sort of thing just by seeing it. So I suppose it does kind of make a difference if something's there all the time. So if you make your environment sort of clean and flowy and it's aligning with, and there's sort of cosmic chi forces going on, then I suppose it just kind of make a little bit of sense, even just as being focused. Like there's that thing of sometimes people will say, "Oh, I'm self-sabotaging." When why are you self-sabotaging? Because I've been late for work 3 times this month. It's like maybe it's not self-sabotage, unless you really hate your job or something. Maybe it's not. So maybe you're just not very focused. Maybe you just need to get to bed earlier, or set your alarm earlier, or get that earlier bus, or look at why you was late 3 times. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe you're picking the bad route, or you need to do something different, or maybe it is just not getting up early enough. Maybe you're rushing. You know what I'm saying? There could be a load of things. You know, it might just be traffic's just that bad. So then it might be worth considering, or is it worth going along the canal route and cycling, or is there another way? You know what I'm saying, to beat the traffic, sort of thing. But yeah, so it might just be a focus thing. But then on the other hand, thinking in quote unquote magical terms, or cosmology terms and energy universe terms, if you are focusing your energy, then you're like a magic wand, aren't you? So you are using the energies to do apparently supernatural things, but no, not supernatural. You're just focusing your mind and focusing what you're doing and aligning your actions with what your focus is going to be. Like, I suppose, like, is it Einstein that said, or maybe Tesla, whether you're focusing on that frequency, that's the only reality you can see, sort of thing. So, Interesting. Oh, I forgot to tell people about that I was doing this stream. I don't know if there's any. The chat box is closed. I don't know if there's anyone there. I hope I hadn't ignored anyone. Sorry, I didn't even know. Sorry, didn't see you there. Anyway, I'm about to finish my show soon enough because I don't want to miss Mike's show. That's the thing. Oh, let's read some chat comments then. There's loads. Most chat comments I've ever had. Sound is good so far. Words are hard. Yeah. Words are hard. Look who looks so pro and respectable. I know. It's a noisy shirt though. Do you know why I'm wearing this? Because I only had black stuff. I had monochrome stuff. And like, I was blending in. Grab a shirt and it's like the noisiest bit of clothes I own, I think. But, you know, look good. Stream looks great. Rohan. Mighty Rohan to you. Kidding. Just kidding, mate. But yeah. I just wanted to test it out, see what it looks like. See if it's, you know, test the settings and see if I can record at the same time as well. Although I forgot to press record. Should we do it now? See if it crashes. Yeah, I'll press record on the audio. No, it's working. Still here. No, we didn't crash. So I can record at least audio at the same time. I have to remember to do that every show, apart from none. But anyway, yes, Lily's here as well. So Mike's here, James is here. We've got Lily. Good afternoon, Liam. G'day. Mike's got a triple fire. Mike's scores hat trick sometimes, you know. What else we got? We've got big smiles, which is always good. No kids. From my Aikido and do the healing work on my son. Yeah, do the healing stuff. Yeah, Miyagi warming his hands up. I know it's like, you know, warm your hands up, heat and that, but you know, it's going to be some focus. Like Italians with food, put love into the food. Not, you know, in the dirty way, but you know, put your energy into it, make it with love. And it's yeah. And you're blessing your food as well. No, I think there is something to this stuff. Anyway, let me read these comments. Yeah, flow through the home like serpent sliding. Yeah. And nature likes to go friction free, and water works better through pipes. Victor Schauberger figured this out. If you make spiral pipes, copper pipes, water will go through friction free. It'll spin through. It likes to spin. Everything wants to spin. Things like to flow, don't they? Yeah, flow. Defo flow. Anyway. Nature of Mind, still sat there. That's right. Yeah, I get confused sometimes, you know. You skip over a day. Once it flicks over midnight, you're like, what's happened? And me with my time zone stuff. G'day, Lily. Why don't you project another tiger prawn upon the grill, Mom? As you say. Yes, what else we got then? So, hello to everyone. Right, well, let's do a show then. Let's do a show, because I thought I was just testing on my own, and that, but you know, spamming myself. But I'm not. So let's carry on doing the show then. Since I'm here, since you're here, let's do some more. Let's do some more then. So yeah, focus your stuff. In fact, I'm glad we got a podcast, because guess what, Mike's a focus person. In fact, you know, he's one of these people, laser focus, I'm going to get this stuff done. That's what I'm saying. Magic, turn your brain into a magic wand. You know what I'm saying? Lead with your face. And you literally do it on camera, don't you, actually? But yeah. You know, lead with your face. It's a bit like, you know, shove your brain forward, isn't it? In fact, I submit that that's what Tutankhamun's snake is. On his mask, he's got a snake on the front right where his third eye is. And I submit that that's representative of reaching out, popping out of your third eye and reaching out with the symbol of wisdom, the serpent. Boom. Otherwise, they were just, you know, calling him a dickhead, whatever. I'll cut that out. But anyway, Feng Shui. Feng Shui. Feng Shui. Right, and put this in reader mode so I can press the magic button and make myself appear on screen. Okay, so Feng Shui. Let's carry on. See if we can run the right bit. So yeah, so we've got the bit for focus. Creating deep connections to your environment. Know where your stuff is. Have a nice orderly studio. Maybe paint your wall green. Save you messing about. You know, it's a nice flow through room then. Yeah, make you feel grounded. But what is there a bad side to this stuff? Because it all sounds fluffy and nice so far. So let's ask the question. Morris says, remember she's an expert, Laura Morris? She says, I'm not a fan of using the term bad Feng Shui. Which I like that. She's not using an absolute. So I'm on it. Mad Sao. The serpent on King Tut's mask. I'm saying I think that's a third eye reference, personally. I think that's a popping out of your third eye thing. Personally. It's a symbol of wisdom, isn't it? Your Kundalini. I reckon it's saying like your Kundalini coming up your spine and then flying out your sort of crown chakra or out your third eye. But it's same difference because the Christos oil is going to your optic thalamus, then going dormant for 3 days, like Christ being crucified, and then when it gets to the pineal gland, it lights up the optic thalamus. Then you then blast through the crown chakra. So it's kind of both happening through the head and through the third eye, sort of thing. Which has got to be an odd sensation when you fly out of your body in two superpositions. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Yeah, the vulture is a symbol of protection. And the afterlife, yeah. The vulture's doing a good job. The vulture's a cleaner. You know, don't diss the cleaning staff and the catering staff, because they're running the ship. Without them, what are you going to do? You're going to starve for one thing, and you're going to trip over junk and hurt yourself. You know, so yeah, they're important. Serpents. Some people have sky burials in Tibet with all this Taoism stuff. They have this concept of sky burials where they'll take you up to a stone block when you're dead and just they'll chop you up. They'll break you down like to compost you, so that the vultures can come and strip you off easier. You know what I'm saying? Go back to nature a bit quicker. You know what I mean? And give them a meal. You know, and vultures, they're usually scrapping around for food. So it's a different way of thinking. But on to, is there a bad side then? So Laura Morris says, I'm not a fan of using the term bad, which I'm glad that she's using that because of the absolutes, because it can create a judgment and fear. Exactly. I prefer to see potential design issues as an opportunity to improve and grow. For example, a staircase that is positioned in line with the front door can mean a loss of resources. It can. Cold spot. I've got a staircase right opposite the door. It takes me up to the flat because it's like the upstairs of a house. It's isolated, so there's a massive cold void. And the radiator system is designed to start at the top of the stairs, which is the stupidest place to start it, because you can never turn that one off in the place where it's going to suck all that energy away. So, bad Feng Shui plumbing. So we're going to take a break now. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes on the Exile Minds podcast.
To begin at the beginning. It is spring, moonless night in the small town, starless and Bible black, the cobbled streets silent and the hunched quarters and rabbits wood limping invisible down to the slow black, crow black, fishing boat bobbing sea. The houses are blind as moles, though moles see fine tonight in the snouting velvet dingles, or blind as Captain Cat there in the muffled middle by the pump and the town clock. The shops in mourning, the welfare hauling, and all the people of the lulled and dumbfound town are sleeping now. Hush, the babies are sleeping, the farmers, the fishers, the tradesmen and pensioners, cobbler, schoolteacher, postman and publican, fast and slow asleep. The undertaker and the fancy woman, drunkard, dressmaker, preacher, policeman, the wet-foot cocker women, and the tidy wives. Young girls lie bedded soft or glide in their dream with rings and trousseaux, bridesmaided by glowworms down the aisles of the organ-playing wood. The boys are dreaming wicked, or of the bucking ranches of the night and the jolly Rogered sea. And the anthracite statues of the horses sleep in the fields, and the cows in the byres, and the dogs in the wet-nosed yards, and the cats nap in the slant corners, or lope, sly, streaking and needling on the one cloud of the roofs. You can hear the dew falling and the hushed town breathing. Only your eyes are unclosed to see the black and folded town vast and slow asleep.
Citizens of the galaxy, it's time to talk about a very serious matter. Are you prepared for an alien invasion? It may seem like something out of a sci-fi movie, but the threat may be very real. And that's why the Galactic Alliance is here to help. With our state-of-the-art technology and top-of-the-line defense systems, we're ready to take on any extraterrestrial threat that comes our way. But we can't do it alone. We need your help, citizens of the galaxy. So if you see something suspicious, say something. Report any strange activity to your local Galactic Alliance outpost immediately. And if you want to be extra prepared, sign up for our Alien Defense Training Program. Learn how to use a laser blaster, navigate through space, and communicate with alien species. Who knows? You might even make some new alien friends along the way. So remember, stay vigilant, stay prepared, and together we can keep our galaxy safe. A public service announcement from the Galactic Alliance.
Welcome back to the Exo Minds podcast. Thanks for your patience with the break there. On with the show. That makes sense. Like, yeah, staircase in front of the door, loss of resources. Feng Shui is about paying attention and gaining insights. Okay, so I suppose that's doing feedback, right? Checking yourself. Maybe listen back to your audio in radio terms to see if it was peaking, or, see if the stream was choppy, and then adjust your settings accordingly. So this example is a great way for someone to become aware of how they use the energy and spend their money. Again, you get those TV shows where people come and help you do a budget, and when you actually get someone else to look at what you're spending on things, and they can be ruthless, can't they, and say, well, you don't need this or need that. And if you took away all the not needed and only did the essentials, you'd have this much money left over, and now you can afford to do the spa weekend thing, or whatever it is you wanted to do, or just cash for something else. Now you can have savings, So I suppose it's like getting outside of yourself to see yourself. Anyway, yes, I'm going to just keep reading. Okay, so the example is a great way to become more aware of how they use their energy and spend your money by reflection through somebody else, and by addressing the home and becoming more mindful of how they can shift their mindset. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's a bit. Do you know what then? Carry on reading. There are a few simple things that are correct that ways to correct this flow of ki. Adding a rug or a well-placed entry table, or hanging a Feng Shui crystals or crystal prism ball made specifically to adjust the ki. If you hang that between the door and the bottom of the stairs, then that can correct it. One important thing is to remember that ki is different, and the ki is different, and each of us are supported by different elements in a home. Rather than trying to fix a problem, I would encourage you to see the positives in your space, like how your home shelters and supports you. So she's saying get away from, it sounds like she's saying, it's a bit like with Mike's show the other day, or that article about somebody posted something on Twitter, or don't think this thing because then you'll curse yourself. And it's almost like she's doing the opposite of that for the same kind of reason. She's saying don't put it down. Don't put your home down and look at them as problems that need fixing, rather than look at the positives and how you can enhance them. And I think that's a great way to look at it. That is a really, really great way to look at it, actually. And I think this is where it gets looking more kind of sciencey and a bit more, it's sensible advice. I think, yeah, that seems pretty sensible to me in terms of not trying to, there's that example of I've seen it about diet. If Teal Swan did a video about, she shows two women and they're both approaching something in that opposite way, and they're both trying to lose weight, both trying to get healthy, and one of them seeing it as an attack the fat class, and she sees a trainer as like a sergeant major that's there to shout her and shame her into fitness, but then she don't get the results, she's depressed about it, don't want to go, you know what I mean? It's making it worse. She's killing herself trying to do it, and she's actually putting weight on. But then the other person is seeing that as hiring a trainer. She's interviewed a few people, got one she feels comfortable with, hired them, sees them as a supportive person, expert that they're hiring to help them achieve a goal. And they're helping them to monitor that goal and make sure that they're reaching the limits, rather than, relying on yourself. Because someone needs to you need kind of pushing on some stuff, don't you? Because you can't see your own hair grow, so you need someone else to gauge it, whether or not you can do more or not, So it's like, so that woman then, she's getting results, and every time she goes, she's excited about going, and she's getting a little bit more. A bit like if you're doing a podcast show, each time you go, you're getting another opportunity to maybe iron out a crease. Maybe it's something a little bit better, something you could tweak. Keep trying to strive, and over time you will get results. And Michael's on 5 years now with Troubled Minds, really grown it. Anthony Robbins, famous motivational speaker. So people overestimate what they do in a year, what you can do in 12 months, but they grossly underestimate what you could achieve in 5 or 10 years. Yeah? The long gamers, Mike. I was right on that. Carnegie Hall. Keep practicing. Oh, more comments in the chat. Yeah, death and rebirth, and the presence and protection. Yeah, the vulture, yeah. Keep the cycle going, help process it. I used to call myself the vulture back in the days of the Yahoo Messenger. Most people don't clean their house until they know they are having company over. I think that's probably true, actually. I think there's probably, these polls are like in studies, but it's been studies like different like countries are cleaner than others. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's kind of true. And because I'd heard this other study that it was in a kind of, I think it was aimed towards guys, but sort of saying like, you'd be surprised how many women aren't having a shower every day, and it might be 2 or 3 days. Whereas you might expect, that might be a guy. You might think that I didn't have a shower today, whatever. But women, you kind of got this mindset that they're going to be cleaner than us, and it's about 50-50. We're all as dirty as each other, sort of thing. In reference to Matt Sau saying most people don't clean the house, then no people are coming. It's kind of I can't stand those Come Dine With Me show. Well, I can. I like kind of watching them for the voiceovers. But Come Dine With Me. I couldn't stand the idea of doing dinner. Man. Having to... keeping up appearances stuff. I can't go do that road. I could probably entertain. I'd probably do good parties, man, like DJ and stuff, but... I don't know about all of that stuff. Anyway, but maybe if I feng shui my house and get it looking all good, you know, I do me same. I tell you a little secret. It's not a secret because I'm about to tell the whole world. I used to have a girlfriend at one time. I used to do these. Jamie Oliver, the famous chef, he used to do things kind of raw and stuff and show how simple it is. So he's called the Naked Chef. But I used to have a girlfriend where I used to have this black apron and I used to cook for her, practice a meal out of this cookery book, and then like I'd do it naked. Do you know, that was like the thing. And I'd sit and have a dinner with just my apron and that, and that was a little fun thing. Like back in the day, just for a laugh, you know. It's where I was trying to get my feng shui pointing north, wasn't I? You know, get my fire going. Anyway, moving on. What do we got then? So, with all this direction stuff, I got thinking about this. What if, so we're talking directions, right? And we're talking how you align stuff. And in martial arts, like say ninjas, they're doing lines on people, and you can draw sigils in magic. You can draw them with your fingers. We're talking magic, using your hands magic. Da-da-da-da-da. Boom Shankar. What does this stuff relate to that, this stuff? That Vamakatra, that Hindu hand magic. How do you pronounce it? Vamakatra. That's it. Vamakatra. So, I mean, yeah, all this angled stuff, man. Is that what that is? The Vamakatra. Hindu hand magic. So, I don't know what that's about. But let's read about it anyway, because this Hindu hand magic and this directional bagua kind of feng shui, I'm wondering if it somehow relates to this. So I just want to do a quick bit on, just want to quickly just reference this. I should be finishing the show. I should have finished already, but I've been chit-chatting in the chat. And I started late, so I think I was 10 minutes, I'm 8 minutes over, I reckon, but that's okay. So yeah, so I just, because I think this directional stuff might be worth looking into, I'm just going to mention this just for the Exile Mind podcast listeners, that it might be worth looking into this Hindu hand magic, because it's pretty nifty, this stuff. So let's have a look. I'll open up the article properly here. So, they have, wow, it's crazy, but in this article, we'd like to introduce you to the concept of Vamakatra in Indian Tantra. The Hinduism Vamakatra is considered to be a closed form of worship. It is closed for many reasons. 3 of them, the most significant, are listed here. Vamakatra, it uses impure, as considered as unorthodox Hindu religion elements, as offerings to deities. These elements are alcohol, meat, fish, and practice of sacred sex. It can cause the feeling of blame, guilt, and misunderstanding on the majority of Hindus who have rigid criteria on what is pure and what is impure. Know what I mean? Because it's like you get that Hindu hand magic, and then you have sex magic stuff, and directions of like what's good to sleep, what directions good to sleep. And I'm thinking, do you know what I mean? Can you stack this stuff up? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Like when you get in video games, you get these like Final Fantasy, or probably more like their Elder Scrolls games where you can do a magic spell. So you get a sword, right? You get your weapon, get axe or whatever. I'll get a crystal axe because it kills zombies or something with one shot or whatever. You think, right, if I enchant it, yeah, it'll be stronger for killing, like magical creatures. So now I can kill zombies and magical creatures. You know what I'm saying? And then if you get an enchanted glove to hold it with, now it's got more magic. And then if you're wearing an enchanted ring on the hand with, on the other hand, because you've got an enchanted glove on that hand, you get like 3-4 enchantments on top to make your enchanted axe super enchanted. And honestly, I think that's what this is. I think they're using this directional stuff and colour and lining it with the cosmology, and there's so much of it. Using astrotheology, direction, mathematics, geometry, colour magic, hand symbols, and then even in martial arts, the way you move your footwork is in shapes as well. Triangles and squares and circles. So if you did a circle, can't you do you know what I'm saying? You do alchemy on people while you're fighting them. You know what I mean? And what I'm talking about. Yeah, we had a nice laugh at that, Livy. The old naked chef. But I think it's a good idea. I think guys should do that. It's alright. It's fun. Keeps things keeps things spicy in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Enchanted runes, yeah, exactly. Exactly. What if you enchanted runes? Don't even because runes are magic. They're magic symbols, aren't they? So, okay, all right. What if you enchant a crystal that's already from Atlantis? You can go on Trouble Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting, and get Atlantis crystals. You know, got an affiliate. But yeah, let's say you got an Atlantis crystal. It's already got all that, and then you enchant it, and then etch a rune on it, and then put that on a symbol of another rune to like enhance it. Oh wow! I bet it's so easy. I bet if you've got one, you could just draw one on chalk, put it on it, stand it on a symbol, and then put some mirrors around it to reflect the symbol in all dimensions. Oh my god! I bet it's that simple. I bet it is. You know. Oh my god, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Stacking magic, stack it, yeah, like a triple stack burger, and have some of that. You hungry lad? You want some triple stack, you know, Harry Potter magic? But maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the thing, Matt. I don't know. But anyway, let me read a little bit more about this because this is talking a bit of sex magic here, so it's getting a bit spicy. So let's continue. So a closed system of practice is closed and should not be transmitted to those individuals whom gurus consider as morally unscrupulous. You've got to be pure to do this stuff proper. Yeah, because people might use it to get groupies, you know what I'm saying? And they must be able to use these practices, to harm themselves and others. Because it might cause harm with the actual practice as well. So Varma Marga practices should not be disclosed to those individuals who have no proper diksha and blessings from the guru. It is a secret associated with diksha. I don't know what diksha is actually. It's okay, going on. It says actually the practices of Ramakarcha exists in the tantric system, and you can find the analogues even in Christianity, which uses a communion of bread and wine in the church, in Gnostic cult, Kabbalah, and Sufism. In Chinese tradition, and these practices are predominantly associated with the control of energy. So the Gnostic cult of the bread and wine, the Eucharist, that's associated with controlling energy. The Kabbalah is, Sufism is, and along with these Chinese and Indian traditions, and in Buddhism and the Vamakacha methods are known as the practices of the Karma Mudra. So this is some deep stuff. Do you know what? They know about it, don't they? They know about this stuff. They know about it. They've got to. These are, when I say they, the they I'm talking about. They've got to know. I mean, how long has this been around? I was just talking to somebody today who's an African guy, and I was on about talking about the paranormal. And you can't really talk about it. And he was like, well, why not? And I was like, because, people used to get sectioned. Because he was a nurse. So I was like, people used to get sectioned for, wearing a tinfoil hat. And he never heard the tinfoil hat thing. So I was like, yeah, wearing a tinfoil hat, as if you talk about UFOs, they think you're trying to block out alien signals, but it comes from a real thing where the army used to, wrap the radio equipment in tinfoil to shield it. So I was telling this African guy, and he's like, wow, can't believe it. Like, so that's interesting, the tinfoil thing, but I hadn't realised that it used to be a thing that people call you crazy if you talk about the paranormal and UFOs. Do you know what I mean? So for him it was like, he didn't tell me anything, but for him it was like, oh really? They used to think you were crazy and lock you up for that. yeah, in the West. But then I was saying to him, but the West, if you think about it, Britain, and for a lot of centuries it was colonising the world, discovering a lot of the world, discovering stuff. They must have found out about things, and if you find out about something really good that works, you've got to hang on to that, aren't you? Like, get a better weapon of your enemy to get the edge, I would expect. National security, that's how it works. So, Because if you've got a century or two or three of going around the world, just taking whatever you want, and discovering all these cultures you had no idea about, and all this stuff, you know. And if it's some obscure place and some obscure thing, and you have to get some translator to do it, and only you've got the translation, then you could easily go and use that stuff. And look at the era. Columbus discovers America in 1492, right? But my pub, the oldest pub in England, it's not the closest one, but it's not that far away. That's like 12th century, right? So England's been around a long time. Got good at shipbuilding because it had to, because it's on an island. Starts checking some of the world out, and then so after 1492, so that's 1500s. When you get into the 1600s and the pirates era, you're starting to get technology. You're starting to get sciences. You're starting to get the alchemy and people writing books about magic, and for a long time, right up until Blavatsky, isn't it? Which is basically, we're coming up to the 1900s. We're coming up to the 20th century. So we had centuries. Britain had centuries to look at this stuff and come across some maybe juice. And if it could make the king rich or all powerful, are you going to drink the maybe juice? Yeah, they're going to make you drink the maybe juice. See if it's poisoned or not. I would have thought. That's my opinion. Anyway. That is my opinion. But it looks like I don't know if to wind the show up now, because I just sort of feel like I'm rambling on a bit, and I was trying to keep it to a radio clock time. I started 10 minutes late. It looks like I'm on about an hour and a half ish. I need to put a break in. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to wind it down, because I didn't take a break on the top of the hour. But if I stop it now, I'll leave enough space so I can magically edit it in and do some time travel, and with the audio and the video, and boom, it will all be on radio clock time. I'll feel better. But anyhow, just wanted to just do a quick stream today, test some stuff out, and have a quick look into this, because I just fancied it. So, anyhow, thanks so much for turning up, James and Mike. If you're still here, if you're listening, thanks so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Marie. Hope you enjoyed my little anecdote there about the old cooking. Matt Sow, always a pleasure. Temple of the Owl. Tune in. Temple of the Owl. You can hear it on Spotify, and the Exile Minds podcast is an associate of Matt Sow, Exile Minds podcast, both on the Troubled Minds radio network, KUAP digital broadcasting. So yeah, it's getting good. Really great station. Still in beta, but it's out there. You can listen to it. And yes, it's doing pretty well. So far. Getting better. New shows coming all the time. There's stuff in the works. I nearly let things slip then. I don't want to represent, but yeah, I'm just the audio guy and just a incredibly famous podcast host. That's all I am. I'm just, the chief director, viceroy of laughter, merriment, and fornication. That's all I do. Just those roles. Mike does all the big talk. He does all the planning. Anyway. Oh, great. I'm glad the audio's been good. I don't know if it was peaking or not, because I'm getting a bit high on my meter here. But hopefully the limiter works, and rather than it too quiet, I think I'm still ironing things out. But anyway, thanks for that, James. It's useful to get the feedback for the audio. Temple of the Owl. It is a great show, James. But there's different shows for different people, all sorts of courses. Obviously, anyone that's ever listened to podcasts and come across Salcedo Paranormal knows it's the greatest show on earth. And it's just, we have to deal with it, don't we, James? It's just, we all know it. But he's the only expert we've got, so, the expert should have the best show, you'd think, wouldn't you? So, anyway, you take it easy, folks. And, I'll catch you very soon. I might even do another one tomorrow, because I'm still sort of testing equipment and things. So don't know what it'll be. Let's have a look in my show folder. Have we got anyone's waiting? Let's have a look. Let's have a look in show folder now. Let's have a look live. Let's have a look in the homework book, in the special playbook. What we got? That one. Kind of just done that one. This one. Kundalini. We haven't done that. I tell you what. I'll do a show on Kundalini, and we'll look into this hand magic stuff properly. And I'll, might be able to do something with martial arts where I can show some movements, get some diagrams, so to see what shapes they make. That'd be interesting, actually. I might do that. I might look at some martial arts movements in some different styles and shapes that they make, see if they align to sigils, or we'll look at the Bagua map and see what elements it's drawing on. That'd be interesting, actually. I might do a little study. So, yeah, we'll do a Kundalini show, Hindu-y, super normal, super magical powers, superhuman show. What about that? Super normal. In fact, we need to do a show with Mike. We need to do a show with Mike again. Revisit the magic thing and the super normal. But anyway, I've got to do a break. Rumbling on. So, Exile Minds podcast, the famous Liam Martin, signing out. I'm going to play a little bit of an ad track, bit of break music, just to take us out. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. Appreciate it, James. Appreciate it, Marie. Appreciate it, Matt Sal. Mike, if you're still listening. If I missed anyone, sorry about that. And I'm getting back into the swing of things. So hope you enjoy the show. If not, tell me in private. Don't put it in the comments on YouTube. All right. Anyway, you take it easy, and I'll catch you all very soon. Exile Minds podcast, probably an extra bonus show tomorrow because I'm feeling in the mood, you know. Anyway, take it easy. Look after yourself. See you later.
It is spring, moonless night in the small town, starless and Bible black. The cobbled streets silent and the hunched quarters and rabbits wood limping invisible down to the slow black, crow black, fishing boat bobbing sea. The houses are blind as moles, though moles see fine tonight in the snouting velvet dingles, or blind as Captain Cat there in the muffled middle by the pump and the town clock. The shops in mourning, the welfare hauling, and all the people of the lulled and dumbfound town are sleeping now. Hush, the babies are sleeping, the farmers, the fishers, the tradesmen and pensioners, cobbler, schoolteacher, postman and publican, fast and slow asleep. The undertaker and the fancy woman, drunkard, dressmaker, preacher, policeman, the wet-foot cocker women, and the tidy wives. Young girls lie bedded soft or glide in their dream with rings and trousseaux, bridesmaided by glowworms down the aisles of the organ-playing wood. The boys are dreaming wicked, or of the bucking ranches of the night and the jolly Rogered sea. And the anthracite statues of the horses sleep in the fields, and the cows in the byres, and the dogs in the wet-nosed yards, and the cats nap in the slant corners, or lope, sly, streaking and needling on the one cloud of the roofs. You can hear the dew falling and the hushed town breathing. Only your eyes are unclosed to see the black and folded town fast and slow asleep.
Do you crave open, uncensored discussion about the unexplained? Look no further than the Troubled Minds Radio Network, ultimate destination for those who seek the truth, not afraid to speak their minds. At the Troubled Minds Radio Network, we don't just talk about UFOs, the paranormal and the ever-changing, shifting news cycle. We dissect and debate them and encourage you to join the conversation. Join us as we gather to discuss the mysteries of the world, share your own encounters, and engage in thought-provoking conversation that leaves no stone unturned. Because the Troubled Minds Radio Network, your voice matters and all your ideas are welcome. Tune in, speak out, and explore the unknown with us. Don't miss out on the most candid, uncensored discussions about the unexplained on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting.
If you're into philosophical constructs, cosmic musings, and the probability of magic in our mysterious world, welcome to Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting.